Hello, boxing fans around the world. Thank you for joining Mike and I for another Friday night panel here on Talkin Fight. And we have a lot to talk about, don't we?
Yes, we do. Well,
I don't even know where to start. I don't know about you.
I don't even know where to start.
Should we flip a coin? Hey! Before we get going,
yeah.
Do you need some help with that new betting money you got?
Yes. That's gonna be lots of fun. Can't wait to do that tonight.
I think we should do that live on the Friday night panel.
Yeah, we should use the Bet Stamp app, the wonderful Bet Stamp app, and find out the best odds across all the platforms that they carry. And let's make a wonderful outcome of this fruitful change that was given to me by our wonderful friends over at BetStamp, so that I can.
Awesome. That's awesome. When I heard that, I went great. And now you start looking for these insider tips, but that's what BetStamp's all about, right? They provide all the different betting platforms and who's giving the best odds, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah. So what it does is it's a platform that holds all the available apps in your region, and it puts all of them in real time in front of you. You make the bets that you're looking for, and then it brings up the best odds across all the platforms that you are a part of, and puts it all on one screen for you. And then, when you click on it, it takes you over to that platform so that you can place that bet, and then allows you to track all your bets in real time on their platform. Man, it's great.
Super cool app. And when it comes to betting, like I'll bet not many of us knew that there was a system out there that allowed you to literally look at which one was going to give you. If you were thinking on betting on Anthony Joshua, for example, you could use this app to scroll through and see who's going to give you the best odds if you had decided to bet on Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, and what it also does is it will also give you the odds of who they believe is going to win the fight. Like, it will give you a percentage on who they believe the winner is going to be before it actually happens. So yeah.
Wow, how cool!
Yeah, it's not bad. It's pretty good.
Once again, Talkin Fight innovators and bringing new partners to the table.
Definitely. Yeah, we will. Yeah, so I guess we will be launching boxing on that soon enough.
Yeah. I understand it's a technology gamble.
Yes.
Hey, Carl, how you doing?
I'm just wondering whether you're a gambling page now rather than a boxing channel.
You know what?
It's a big endorsement you're just giving.
No. We're not endorsing anything. We are being sponsored by a company called BetStamp soon.
Yes.
Very soon. And it's a really interesting application for those people who have the money to bet and the time to research or maybe the time to listen to podcasts like ours to find out who they should be betting on. I don't know. You must be excited, Carl, over there in the hotbed of boxing. You guys have a big fight lined up tomorrow night.
There was an event today too.
There what?
Yeah, there was an event today. The Harlem Eubank card against Miguel Entin. Entin was down once in the 6th round and once in the 7th, and that went unanimous decision. So Harlem Eubank is still undefeated, 17-0. Our boy Matty Harris was also on the card. Came through with a wonderful victory, TKO over Milos Veletek
in about 2 seconds.
Okay, yeah, Carl. I haven't seen the fight yet. But
spoiler alert. And sorry.
No. Please spoil it. Let me know how that fight went down. Actually.
Well, it'd be a very quick review, Mike, because he literally got into the ring. The bell went, couple of shots, it was game over. So
nice.
I wouldn't rush to watch the fight, if I'm honest.
But are you recommending it maybe as knockout of the week?
No, Graham, I couldn't possibly influence that decision now, could I? So
But
I'll leave that down.
Of course you could.
You could put forward a wonderful knockout, because I always say, if there is one better than the one that we picked, please
Yeah.
show us.
I think that will go to Anthony Joshua when he sends another North American packing back over the pond tomorrow night.
Hey, you know what? If he can do it, by all means, I want to see it.
I watched the weigh-in. Wow. I mean, I couldn't believe he's what, 22 pounds heavier?
Yeah,
Frankly, 22 pounds. And I'm not talking fat. That guy looks absolutely ripped.
Derek James, it's Derek James' style, isn't it? Seek and destroy. I don't think they're going to go looking for each other tomorrow night. I just think they're going to meet in the middle of the ring.
Yeah,
That is going to be one blistering battle, man. Holy, wow. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I went, wow, that guy's a monster.
yeah.
In a good way. Anyway, sorry, Mike, we were interrupting your recap of the Friday night fights.
Yeah, the Friday afternoon fights, because it happened here in the afternoon for us.
Depending on time zone, Michael. Depending on time zone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there wasn't too many knowns on this one, but definitely
Except for Matty Harris
and Harlem Eubank. He's known. Yeah. What any other exciting fights on this card, Carl? Because I know you watched it.
Yeah, not really, if I'm honest with you. Like I said, a lot of up and coming fighters.
Yeah.
And there's a fight that's just finishing now. Harry Scarfoods from Derby, and just down the road from me, as Graham will know, with his great English geographer. Now he's an up and coming fighter. Good fight. That's worth watching, Mike. I won't spoil it for you, but that's worth watching.
Yeah, he's in that super welter division. Goes by Horrible.
That's
Horrible.
right.
Yeah, Harry Horrible Scarf.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a small old show in the UK. It's on Channel 5, which is a terrestrial TV channel. But interestingly enough, I noticed that DAZN had picked it up in your territory. Is that right?
Yeah.
So that would suggest that DAZN had got a first for any boxing material at the minute. Bearing in mind, they just landed on the Sky platform in the UK as well. Channel 429, is as Eddie Earn keeps reminding us. So I do think it's an interesting time for DAZN, because they've gone from being a purely streaming app to trying to diversify just to get more viewers through the door, I'd suggest.
Well, yeah, they did that deal. They did that deal with our promoter here in Canada, Lee Baxter. So, they're making moves for sure. Definitely trying to expand that viewership.
Golden boy, so it would suggest spreading the bets a bit wider than just Matchroom.
Well, yeah. there was a great comment from Bob Arum. Not that he ever gives great but anyway, there was a comment from Bob Arum with respect.
Good value for money.
With respect, anyway, he had a good comment with respect to pay-per-view prices, and he noted that they're just simply too expensive, over here anyway.
Well, Graham, it has been noted that the Garcia fights is that $89.99 over in the States.
Yeah, plus. I believe I'm going to say roughly plus another 10 if you want a monthly subscription. So, but his fight, I believe his fight. What the hell was he talking about? Oh, Devin Haney against Lomachenko.
Yeah, that's $60 isn't it?
Yeah, he's put that as $59.99 to understand, because he believes that's the fight that everyone should be watching. So now they're getting into a nice little competitive battle with respect to price,
as they should. Right, Graham. They're both great fights, aren't they?
Yeah,
I think Lomachenko's had his day. I think Devin Haney's got him.
I mean, I think Devin Haney is the next superstar of boxing. I think he's a very, very special fighter. However, people go in on him for the Kambosos fight, I don't really understand, because that was a pure demonstration of the sweet science for me. Hit and don't get hit. It was both fights were technically brilliant. I think we're in danger of fight fans of we must have a knockout or it's not classed as a good fight. You know, I'm not sure where this has come from. But I've read and I've listened to a lot of people absolutely slating Devin Haney as a boring fighter, which is outrageous. Absolutely outrageous.
Well, I'll tell you where it might have come from. The disgraceful judging that took place for several years and on occasion still happens. And thus the motto, you know, don't leave it in the hands of the judges. And that's not coming from commentators. That's coming from boxers' mouths. You know, they know they have to deliver a knockout punch or run.
Sorry, Graham. Especially if you're in the away corner, I might add.
Right. Absolutely. And that's quite frankly too bad. That is a quote unquote black eye for boxing, to have that stain, to have that reputation. I know there have been several other sports, like literally over the past decade. It's taken them 10 years to clean up either their refereeing or their judging, to make sure that it's consistent, to make sure that the rules are applied, that they're understood by both parties, by the athlete and the referees and or judges, and that they're consistently applied in terms of how they're judging. And that was not the case and is not the case in boxing. And you hear it time and time again. So anyway, to not to answer your question because it wasn't a question, but to address your comment, I think that may be where the knockouts have come into being, well, playing a major factor in boxing right now. Well, what is kind of cool, though, is, and it's hard to say, but okay, in women's boxing, I never would have thought, you know, I hate to say it, but I guess I'm old school, whatever, but I never would have thought girls would be this powerful. Like never. I would never use the word powerful when I'm describing a girl/woman. But the point of the matter is these women are powerful.
They are.
Wow. They really are.
I've not spoke to you guys since Katie Taylor versus Chantel Cameron has been officially announced. What a great fight.
Yeah.
What a great fight. I'm personally leaning towards Chantel Cameron. I think she'll be a little bit too big, and I think Katie Taylor's slightly on the slide.
Even with being in her hometown backyard kind of thing?
I think this is Chantel Cameron's breakout fight. She's very well known in the UK, but I think the world's going to know after this fight. She's very, very good. In fact, she's exceptional.
Yeah.
And I just think she's catching Katie Taylor at the right time. Katie Taylor, trailblazer for the female boxing. Nothing but respect for Katie Taylor. However, all athletes get to that point where they're on the slide, unfortunately. And the last few performances, she's got caught and hit more than I've ever known.
Yeah.
Who else is on that card? They made a few announcements with respect to the undercard.
Yeah, you've got Terry Harper.
Yeah, Shanika Johnson, Ellie Scottney.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a big one. Also, we got Metcalf and Hogan on that as well.
Yeah, that's an intriguing fight.
Yeah, that one's going to be for the IBO World Super Welter. So definitely, two veterans in the game, man. Dennis Hogan, 31-4-1, and Metcalf 24-2-0. So
the only thing about Hogan is he's been fighting in Australia recently, hasn't there? So what's his level of opponent look like?
Yeah, that's another thing to think about too. His last
a bit like Canadian boxing. When you start venturing into these territories, you're not sure what the level's like.
Really. Did you watched our buddy, right, Cody Crawley, the other night?
Please
tell. I wasn't overly impressed. I was trying to get on quickly on Cedric's scorecard. I wasn't overly impressed, boys. To be honest,
honestly,
if you're hanging out on that guy, you're in for a disappointment sooner or later.
He's merely one of many examples.
Yes, he is.
Well, I keep hearing this, Graham. I keep hearing this new North American revolution that's coming over the hill.
He was, you know what though? He was almost out of the ring for a year when he fought Ramos.
Let's see when he gets up the top end of the division.
Well, he's at the top end.
Well, he's not really. Who's he for?
He's sitting number 6 in the world in the welter division.
So there's 5 people above him then.
Yeah, Ennis, Ortiz, Diaz, Spence, and Crawford.
Yeah, so let's throw him in with someone who's going to be an active opponent, and let's see what happens.
Let's put him in with any of the top 5 and see what happens. Or hey, let's get Connor Ben to come over to Canada and he can fight him because he's sitting right below him.
I don't really want to be drawn on Mr. Ben, to be honest with you.
Is Chris Eubank really going to fight Connor Ben?
It looks that way.
Really, yeah?
It looks that way. Local reports over here is that the British Boxing Board of Control will not authorise for Eubank Jr. to go and fight.
Right.
So I think he'll just probably say, okay, thank you very much, I'll have my licence in.
Really? So out of curiosity, once they hand their license in, like Connor Bennon's done, do they just buy it back?
They'd have to apply for it back. Yeah, so it's interesting because allegedly, we'll use the word allegedly, the British Boxing Board of Control have been ringing around commissions around the world asking them not to license a fight.
Really?
Allegedly. So it's a mess, isn't it? You know, it's a mess, that situation is.
Yeah, well, here's the interesting like sidebar to this discussion. I was talking to a chap in Bahrain today, okay? And unbelievably, okay, he was saying that they're now that they sponsor one of the F1 races, okay? Yeah. So he says, yeah, that they've got more than enough money to bring boxing, and it's becoming kind of a, how do you say it, almost like a political fight between Dubai, Saudi Arabia, and now Bahrain, who want to throw their money into this equation. So and we've talked about this before, it is becoming about the money.
Yep.
So I mean, take a look at the Fury Usyk debacle. Like, what a nightmare that was. And I feel sorry for the fans. We got ripped off. I mean, that fight should have happened April 29th, I think it was, or April 21st.
We've been waiting over a year to see first of all, we've been waiting since the 4-belt era to see an undisputed heavyweight champ. Are we ever going to see it?
I'm hearing it might be happening at the back end of the year in Saudi Arabia.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah, because the bottom line was it seems that there wasn't enough money in the pot, was there? You know, Saudis didn't want it.
The Saudis offered Usyk $60 million US, and Frank Warren said Usyk could have made $20 million on the Fury fight if it was held in Wembley.
I mean, what I'm a little bit bored of is all the smoke and mirrors. I don't know if that translates over to North America, does it?
It does.
You know, he said, she said, you got promoters coming out and making statements. You know, it's just, that's a real black eye on boxing, isn't it? We really do need the best to start fighting the best, or what's going to happen is, and I've said this many times, the platforms like DAZN are going to be putting more KSI fights on against God knows who because it does numbers. And the tradition, let's call it the traditional sport of boxing, suffers.
Yeah. The best got to start fighting the best, and you know what? That's all that needs to happen.
It's a real concern, though, isn't it? It's a real concern. When we get it right in traditional boxing, we get it right, don't we? You know, when the big fights happen, it draws. I mean, look at the media week for AJ this week. The who's who of celebrities in Britain was there, whether it's in the weigh-in. I was there also, by the way. Obviously, a very important person. But the names that were there during the public workout, through to the press conference, through to the weigh-in today. You know, we all, Britain is the best at putting events on in boxing. I'll just put that out there. That's my belief. It's my genuine belief. But we're in a bit of a strange situation because obviously Saudi are now big players. The Middle East are big players.
Right. And they got the money to build whatever.
Yeah, but Mark, you lose a bit of atmosphere, don't you? You know, Joshua versus Usyk, it wasn't a great atmosphere around in the stadium which they built.
No, it's different. It's way different. Just like North America's atmosphere is different than the UK, and the UK is different than Australia, and Australia is different than everything is different. every atmosphere. You don't get fans, you don't get true fans like you do anywhere else but the UK. The UK is very, I can give them that, man. The atmosphere, the fan base, the UK's got it.
Women's boxing channel. That's a great comment.
Spoiler alert.
Nottingham.
Ain't your for eco's.
Ooh, I like the word blistering. Blistering fight.
Yeah. Thanks WBC for the update. No, I don't have to. No, I don't have to go and watch it.
So are we going to go on to AJ's fight and give some predictions then? I mean, Mike, it's your gig, not mine. So
yeah, no, we're gonna talk about it right now.
Are we?
Right now.
Are we?
Yeah, man. Anthony Joshua is set to face Jermaine Franklin in this, crucial heavyweight comeback fight.
Jermaine Franklin.
Wait. Why don't we start with the undercard first and work up to our Joshua Franklin fight? Come on. Let's start with the undercard because there are some good fights on that undercard. There are. Let's come on.
There are. Yeah, man. There are a bunch of good ones here. Fabio Wardley, Galal Yaffe.
What are your thoughts on Fabio Wardley, Mike?
What's that?
What's your thoughts on Fabio Wardley? Bear in mind, white collar background.
I like him, man. I like him. He's never in the fights that I've watched. He's performed really well. I don't know much about this guy Coffee, so we'll have to see what's going on there.
Well, if he wins this fight, he's going to fight David Adelaide.
Yeah.
Holly Donovan gave a great review of the show this morning. So, her comments were interesting with respect to Wardley and his background and
white collar fighter,
yeah. So that'd be a good, a great fight, a pure fight like that. Yeah. That's very good. What else? What else is on that undercard? I don't have it in front of me.
We got Galal Yaffe's back in action, looking to keep that undefeated. He's taking on Moses Caleros. Guy's a veteran. He's got he's been in there, 40, 45, 47 times, somewhere around there. So, but this one's also for the this one, Galal Yaffe. Yeah, Moses Carlos. This is good. This can be good, man. How do you rate Yaffe, man? I like the way this kid fights.
Yeah, good amateur pedigree.
He's
Matchroom giving him a big push.
Yeah.
I worry about the talent pool in that weight division, though, Mike. Is it really deep talent? Probably not.
Do you mean in England?
The fly division, worldwide, it's not
really.
It's not too deep, man. There's
no. I think he'll go through them levels quite quickly, Mike. I think he'll be in a world title fight.
I'm guessing we've got some Japanese fighters, some Filipino fighters in that division, Mexican fighters.
We got some Filipinos, we got some Mexicans, we got a couple of guys from the States. We got some Japan, China. Yaffe, he's sitting at 27 in the world right now.
Oh, really?
And Mike, it's Yaffe.
Yeah. Oh man. I don't. It's not a deep talent pool, man. Sonny Edwards sitting on top of it, so. I like Sonny Edwards. I can't complain. I'd like to see that fight, Yaffe Edwards, which is eventually going to happen.
Sonny Edwards is a quality fighter.
Yeah, I do rate him as a fighter. I do. He's got good.
Just signed to Matchroom, by the way.
What's that?
He's just signed with Matchroom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is recent, eh? That's excellent. Yeah. So.
Who else? Come on, Mike.
Yeah, man.
Waiting for you, man.
Galal Yaffe. We got John Hedges. Oh, Campbell Hatton back in action on this card. A lot of people don't rate Campbell Hatton. What are your thoughts on him?
Is he undefeated?
He's undefeated. He's 10-0 right now, man. He keeps coming through with these victories, and people are saying that he's shit, and controversial wins and all this kind of stuff. But he keeps coming through with that victory.
I think it was unfortunate, Mike, that he got put too far at the cards of major shows too quickly. He's got a lot. I mean, it doesn't help when he comes out to the same theme tune as in Blue Moon that his dad used to. You know, and to be fair to him, he's had a lot of pressure. I do think he's getting better and better. Just how far he can go, I'm not sure. But I think he's getting better.
He is getting better. Like, you know, he doesn't have that finish power yet. You know, he's out of his 10 wins, he's only knocked out 3. So, you know, but he is, you know, he's still a young guy, man. He's only 22. You know, there's definitely, he definitely is getting better when you watch him.
I think you ought to get Women's Boxing Channel on because she's making some great points.
I know these are great points. I know.
Yeah.
He got told live on air last fight that he's got to up his opponent's standards. He's on dodgy ground. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Do you know the writer?
There's an English phrase. There's an English phrase for you. He's on dodgy ground.
Dodgy ground. Yeah.
Yeah. So the undercard's looking good, but the big fight everybody wants to talk about. You know it, man. We're talking about the Joshua fight. What are your thoughts? Predictions? Jermaine Franklin. He's 21-1, taking on the man Joshua 24-3. Joshua does look in really good shape. Pretty impressed. What are your thoughts?
I'll let Graham go first. It's his show, not mine.
All right, sure. Up until I saw that weigh-in, I was discounting Joshua because of his stated mental issues, to be blunt. And I didn't know whether he could really handle someone like Jermaine Franklin, who's kind of mouthy and kind of brash. But at the end of the day, when I saw that weigh-in, I went, poof, okay, that throws the mental question out the door. And he's been training in the U.S. and he's had some top quality sparring partners. So I'm siding. You know what? I sided with Joshua against Usyk. And I lost that bet, and I couldn't believe it because I thought, you know, he had the better reach, and I just thought he had the better skill set, and he lost to Usyk. So I thought, what the fuck? And now, but now I'm just purely looking at them side by side. I'm going, wow, one guy is ripped and absolutely looks like he should be playing for the New York Giants, right? As middle linebacker.
What sport's that?
And,
That's the American football.
the non-proper football. Yeah. Anyway, let's just say he was buff, like absolutely buff when I saw him.
He weighed in 20 pounds heavier.
And I mean, the size of his biceps alone are the size of both of my thighs combined, I'm sure. Like that guy, holy moly, blew me away. And I'm saying to myself, boy, I do not want to be Franklin. I'm sorry. I don't care how much this I've been doing for the past week.
Joshua's got a 4-inch height advantage, and he's got like a 5 or 6 inch reach advantage.
I mean, good luck. I'm sure Franklin said, I'm going to be pounding away at the belly type shit. That's just not going to work. I mean, Joshua has put in the work. Obviously, he is ready.
Yeah.
Now, who comes after Joshua? Eddie Hearn had said he's got 3 or 4 fights lined up once he beats Franklin. So he's got him on a bit of a trajectory, and I appreciate that. It's kind of interesting to see that there is true management at play here. But anyway, I'm not discarding Franklin, but I'm telling you, for all the talk that Franklin did over the past couple of weeks that I've been reporting on the news show, like you would have thought, you know, he knew some secret sauce that he was going to take into that fight. But I'm telling you, when I saw that weigh-in, I went, game over, Franklin, you're out. All right.
Also on the card, Austin Williams, 13-0. I like this kid. I've been watching him for a while, taking on River.
Do you not want my prediction, Mike? No, I've removed on.
No, we know your prediction.
You know mine. Go on then. Well, what is it? You must be psychic then.
No. Let's hear it.
I want to hear your full blown opinion, not just your opinion.
Ben, mate, his briefs might moved on. So I think obviously AJ's out with Derek James. He looks in the zone.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he's coming so ever because you better get Franklin out there by round 6. So I worry about his stamina carrying that much muscle mass and weight.
Sure.
Big time.
But I think it's in a bit of a no-win situation. I think if you blast Franklin out round 1 or 2, people will go, Franklin was a hype job.
Yeah.
And if he gets dragged late, people will say Joshua is finished. So I'm worried for AJ in that perspective. But I think he's going to look to make a statement. You don't come in that ever and then start running around the ring. So I think he's going to look to take him out earlier.
Yeah, I think.
I do think Franklin sees round 6.
You know what? Yeah, I agree. I don't think he goes past 6.
And then I think it's a Dillian White fight in the summer, followed by maybe the Fury fight in what you guys call fall/winter. There you go, a bit of North American slang there for you.
We don't have no in betweens here in Toronto, man. It's summer and cold. That's it.
Yeah, not too different to the UK.
The only issue on a boxing industry level is it doesn't do the boxing industry any good to put British v British fighters time and time again. If you really want to claim that heavyweight title, you've got to go down the road. I'm telling you, I know you don't believe me, but when Jared Anderson crosses the pond and faces some of your boys, I'm telling you, he's going to take over that division.
Well, how many fights is he going to have before he comes over then? What is he, 22 at the minute? Is that 22 years old, something like that?
Yeah, he's like, I'm pretty sure he's 10. He's pretty sure he's 10-0, and
he's more than that now.
If you compare the two, he's probably as fit as Joshua, like in terms of physique, in terms of look.
Yeah, and he's also only 2 inches smaller than Joshua, and like an inch and a half reach advantage Joshua has on him.
It's not all about size, though, is it? Because Andy Ruiz Jr. proved that. So
yeah. But I'll add this comment:
Big Baby's 13-0 with 13 KOs.
Jared Anderson is meaner. He's got that mentality that seems to be lacking in Anthony Joshua. He seems
that hunger.
Jared Anderson has that killer instinct. He's motivated, and there's just something, after those 2 Usyk fights, there's just something not lacking, but almost lost in Joshua's will to continue. And I think he probably said it. He has said this will be his last fight if he does lose to Franklin.
Yes.
So, at the end of the day, I mean, a guy like Anderson is going to fill that gap, quite frankly, because I honestly think that Anderson can handle Dillian White. I honestly think he can handle Joe Joyce would be a good fight, but realistically, I mean, some of your English fellas are getting a bit old, to be blunt.
The jury's out for me until he fights someone of note where he can draw some comparison. I'll keep my powder dry, because we've had examples like this in the past. I'll just throw one out there, not at the same weight division, but Jeff left up Lacer. He was coming over to fight Calzaghe. It was a done deal. He was going to beat Calzaghe up. Got over to Cardiff, and the rest is history, as I say. So I can't draw any comparisons, Graham, because he hasn't been in with anyone of note, in my opinion. So until he does, has he even had an art check yet? Has anyone put it on him? And has he gone to them dark places where he's got to bite down his gum shield and come through a bit of a storm?
But I'm gonna put him.
He's only been brought the distance once, and that was by Kingsley Ibe, and he ended up KOing him 219 in that last round.
I'll give you an example. Daniel Dubois, he was knocking people out for fun at British and European level. Then he met Joe Joyce and got found out. So that's the only point I make. Let's see him go up through the levels before we start all hailing that he's going to come over and conquer Britain.
No, I'm just nothing about conquering Britain. It's about the global stakes at play here. There's an awful lot of heavyweight fighters that look at that guy from China.
No,
hey, what's his name?
He's fighting Joyce.
Yeah, Zhang.
Zhang's fighting Joyce. I can't wait to see that one.
When is that? That's coming up soon,
that's
right?
That's going to be a slugfest for the Giants.
2 weeks' time.
That's going to be a great
I'll
fight.
be there again.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Mrs. Witherspoon's obviously happy about it. That's enough about my marriage counselling.
Yeah, that one's set for the 15th, Saturday the 15th. So
Jared and just one last comment. Jared Anderson's mental view on this is the same way I recall Mike Tyson. When Mike Tyson entered the ring, entered the spotlight as a young fella with nothing to lose other than he's got great. Okay. When I was a young lad, not that young, but when I was younger and I saw Mike Tyson for the first couple of times, I went, holy shit, who is this guy? I'm telling you, that is the kind of mentality that Jared Anderson has. He's ruthless in the ring. He's got a killer mentality. I mean, he's not taking any prisoners.
And he's heavy-handed.
So anyway, that's enough about Big Baby. Actually, he calls himself the real Big Baby or something like that, because there's another boxer out there with Big Baby.
That's true.
Well, he might get his nappy changed for him when he gets over to the UK, but that's it for that.
Look at that. See, we knew what a nappy was. All right.
That's funny.
All right. What else is on the cards there, Mike?
We got two-time Olympic gold medalist Robisi Ramirez. Horns with Isaac Dogbo in a 12-round showdown for the vacant interim WBO featherweight world title Saturday. Co-feature Puerto Rican sensation Xander Zayas. Looks to extend his unbeaten record against 9-year veteran Ronald Cruz. This one, guys. Start time 8 p.m. Eastern. Man, I can't wait to see this one. I can't wait to see Xander Zayas back in the ring.
Mark, you could at least tell me what time that is in the UK out of courtesy for me joining you on the stream today. I'm sure you can do the maths.
Well, in the UK, that would be 1 a.m.
You know, you got Graham saying hello, fight fans from around the world. Well, you should be supporting him by doing a bit of a time zone check.
I said Eastern. I said Eastern time, didn't I?
I thought it was a West Coast fight, though.
Start time for this one is 8 p.m. Eastern.
Wow.
Yeah. So, okay. Main event rim walks, it will be about 11 p.m. Ramirez, I can't wait. Went from losing his pro debut in August of 2019 to one of the division's top contenders in 2023. He's ranked number 3 by the WBO, and he had a breakthrough 2022, knocking out Eric Donovan and Abraham Nova. I can't wait to see this guy jump back in the ring. Dogbo, has had a rapid championship rise in the junior featherweight, but he lost his title and career momentum with back-to-back defeats to Emmanuel Navarrete. So he's going to be looking to kick some ass in there for sure. But honestly, I think the fight that's going to steal this whole card is going to be Zayas. 15-0, 10 KOs. He's been ticked for stardom since signing with Top Rank at 16. 2021, he had 6 victories, setting up a 2022 that saw him graduate to 8-rounders. He shut out Louisiana's Quincy Lavales over 8 rounds, knocked out Durable Ellis Espadas in 5. So this kid's been making big waves. And then he's taking on Cruz, who's 18-2-1 with 12 KOs, a Los Angeles native who's never been knocked out as a pro. So this fight is going to be huge. I can't wait to see this one. Also, Jahai Tucker's on the card. Another kid to be watching for. Tiger Johnson, also another big kid to watch for. Jeremiah Milton, another undefeated to be watching for on this card. Abdullah Mason, Cleveland-born, on this one as well. And Dante Benjamin Jr. There's some big names on this card. Definitely watch these up-and-comers. I've been following them. Card kicks off with Emiliano Vargas, part of the Vargas clan. It's a bunch of undefeateds trying to keep that O. Thoughts? Anybody?
Have you heard the news regarding Mutsu Lara that is going to be fighting late May, and it's a toss-up between Warrington and Lee Wood at the minute?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're not sure who it's going to be, but it's likely to be at the MEN Manchester Arena. Did you see the fact that Jack Cattrall's now signed to Matchroom as well?
Yes, I saw that.
Yep.
Great signing. Brilliant signing. I think you should pick the comment up from Women's Boxing Channel. Looks like my compatriot.
Yes. Well, see, you can speak that language. Why don't you read it off for us?
So, great point, Women's Boxing Channel. England has 6 of top 11 heavyweights, but let me tell you, we should be looking at the future. Next 19 from the UK. Matty Harris, 6'8". Matty Harris is a great fighter.
Yeah, man.
6'8", 23-year-old, 5-0, 4 KOs, but his opponent beat his opponent in 23 seconds today.
Yeah.
Watch his space.
Yeah. I've been talking about this kid Matty for a long time.
Yeah,
definitely. I like him. The guy's a monster. Shows dedication. Went and got a caravan, parked it in his trainer's driveway, and living and sleeping there just so he can get to that gym. The guy's got dedication, heart. It's unfortunate that we don't get to see him fight.
I do think some of his Graham. I don't think you're doing any favors from your motherland. All these comments about this North American revolution in the heavyweight division.
Yeah,
I think you've upset some of us across this pond.
It's coming. It's coming. Typo. No, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. What's up with Tyson Fury though? What's the Sugar Hill Stewart thing I'm reading?
Oh, nothing, is it? It was over here to train Lawrence Okolie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And by all accounts, that's a question: are you here to train Tyson as well? And he said, "No, I'm here to train Lawrence Okolie." And people made a big thing of it. It's nonsense.
So out of curiosity, just given the weight that Tyson Fury's put on, are we really going to see him?
Do you think he's put that much on? He looks quite lean to me.
See, that's the thing.
Let's be honest. It's very deceiving, isn't it? Because he's never walks around with his 6-pack. But I think he looks quite lean.
Honestly, he's such an internet troll that you can't believe when those pictures are taken from. That's another
very good, isn't it? He's very good at a wind up.
He's good. He's good at getting people, getting under their skin, playing that media game. Sure, if he posts a picture showing that he's got a huge beer gut, we can't even assume that picture is from that day because we know he likes to play that game.
Would you accept, Graham? I don't want to be partisan tonight, but I'm gonna have to be on this comment. I do put in the sidebar often that we've got the best promoters, the best fighters, and the best fans in boxing. Would you go along with that?
No.
So who are better promoters than Eddie Hearn?
Well, it depends how you define better.
Who puts the best shows on? That's how I define it.
Listen, at the end of the day, this is a weird discussion because Matchroom have taken a very interesting view on who they're selecting for their roster, for their stable. But let's not forget about what Bob Arum's doing. Even at Oscar De La Hoya is getting back in the fight, so to speak.
He's actually stepped his game up. Actually,
yeah, absolutely. He has. And there's a couple of youngsters in the Midwest as well. Salida. I can't remember.
Oh, Dimitri Salida. Salida Promotions. They're doing pretty well. Yeah, they're a smaller company, but
I'm just saying. But it's going to take a while for them to build their rosters. But the talent pool is out there. Is deciding on who to sign and when to sign them. Matchroom right now, if you ask me, are using what's called a shotgun approach. They're taking everyone they can find. Go ahead, Eddie. If you can afford it.
They've just let go a few fighters, aren't they? Like Okolie and bouts and people like that. So it's not that much of a shotgun approach.
Well, there weren't so many kind words said by bouts on that one. But anyway.
It's not going to be, is there? When you part companies, very rarely do you do it on amicable terms in the world of boxing, let's say. There's normally a reason behind it, isn't it?
Realistically, though, I mean, we've been saying this for a while. You take a look at not necessarily the heavyweights, but I was talking to someone in Shanghai the other day, and this blew my mind. Okay, I've been to Shanghai; it's a big city, but when I was talking to this chap who runs a boxing gym, I said, out of curiosity, how many boxing gyms are there in Shanghai these days? 110 boxing gyms in Shanghai alone. So, when you talk about boxing on a global level, I mean, Eddie Hearn's scratching the surface when he signs this person, that person to his roster from England. They
But
may
it's
be the best
probably
fighters. They may be the best fighters from England in England. But when it comes to your global view, you have to take a look at what's happening right now in Tanzania, in Kenya, in Uganda. They have a really good fight scene going on in East Africa right now.
the point I make, Graham, is as we sit here now, because we can only talk about as we sit here now, can't we? We haven't got a crystal ball for the future. I would
No.
argue that Eddie Hearn is a true global promoter in the most markets around the world compared to other promoters. If you think he does shows Australia, Spain, England, it is all over the place, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why DAZN had to tell them to hold on that spending.
Look, I've not complained about Eddie Hearn, okay, ever. But my point to you is simply you have to take a look at boxing as a global sport. And every single person I speak to around the world on an industry level, they talk about their gyms, their fighters, their boxers, and they don't get the same media spin. They don't get the spotlight. They don't get the same equipment. They don't have access to the same quality of trainers. But once that begins to be spread out a little bit, and the playing field is leveled a little bit with the introduction of new technologies that we've been talking about for a long time, for 2 years now. Once that starts to happen and you start to see these big boys and girls coming out of, whether it be, I can't remember a heavyweight ever coming out of Mexico, and I can't. But, any other division out of Mexico, okay? You take a look at what's coming out of the Philippines. I mean, we don't even mention the Philippines half the time, because whenever you talk about Philippines, those Manny Pacquiao this, Manny Pacquiao that, Manny Pacquiao going to fight Conor Benn. Yeah, right. Anyway, but you have I was telling Mike this last week. I said, if you go to a shopping mall in the Philippines, in that shopping mall, there's going to be a boxing event happening.
Yeah.
So when you talk about Eddie Hearn promoting this and promoting it. Yeah, he promotes big shows that attract big audiences in the UK. But when you talk about the global nature of boxing, you have to take into account what's happening around the world in these other countries that you're not even hearing about. I'm hearing about it. I'm looking for example, I'm bragging, Talkin Fight is live streaming a boxing event out of the Netherlands tomorrow. We live streamed the weigh-in today, multi-camera, live streamed it, produced it here, edited it here, broadcast around the world, had a shit ton of viewers, fantastic. So that was just the weigh-in. So that there's a boxing event that's happening in the Netherlands that doesn't get much coverage, I'll bet, in the UK. But our numbers went through the roof in Germany, Netherlands, and South Africa. So, I'm just telling you, like, you have to take boxing as a global sport, and I'm not trying to discount the efforts of Eddie Hearn.
No, I'm just trying to give it some context and some balance regarding. I'm not saying you, but I'm saying sometimes there's an anti-Eddie Hearn rhetoric, isn't there? A lot of things.
Honestly, what I can say about Eddie Hearn is right now he seems to be the only promoter really getting it. To me, like, that's what I see. He's getting the whole global thing. He's trying to expand.
Ben Shalom does a good job as well.
Yeah, but he's still new. He's new on that stage.
Yeah.
Eddie Hearn's got, he's been around a long time. No matter what he says, whether people like it or not, his voice sticks there, man. It's been seen.
And he truly is the best at building a fighter.
Yeah.
Do you mean through the media?
I mean per se, Graham, we all get to learn about the fighter. We learn about the background. You watch Jack Catterall now. Jack Catterall's with boxers, he's been with other promoters. He's now signed with Matchroom, and we'll all learn a lot more about Jack Catterall, his backstory, the rationale behind how he come into boxing. He builds a whole narrative around the fighter.
He makes them more human.
Look what he done for Katie Taylor. That's one thing no one can ever dispute. What he done for female boxing. He's revolutionised for female boxing. Let's be honest, he was at the forefront of that movement. So I just, like I said, I'm not saying you, Graham. I'm just saying I think sometimes Eddie Hearn. I'm not the Eddie Hearn fan club. I'm just saying I see it. I just think sometimes he deserves a bit of a pat on the back.
Sometimes we all do, but all I'm saying is, and it's not point counterpoint, but all I'm saying is boxing is a global sport, and there are many up and coming boxers from around the world who are going to take advantage of online media, build a presence, build a following, begin to make money. Just for example, let's just say they were lucky enough to sell 10,000 pay-per-view tickets at 10 quid. That's 100,000 quid in pay-per-view money that they wouldn't have had before. That's all I'm saying. Like that's new money because there's new technology, and that is gonna help raise the level of training that these fighters don't get these days. I don't know if you've ever seen the video clips. There's some funny video clips out of, and I don't know if they're intended to be funny or not, but there's some funny video clips out of, I believe it's either Nigeria or Kenya, I can't remember, but they're literally in a cinder block building with a mud floor, and they're boxing like crazy, like in a really good way, like really hard. They're putting the heart and soul into it, but that is their gym. That is their gym.
Yeah, I mean that's a long way to travel into it, Graham, from that product to get it anywhere near ready for if I talk about the UK, because that's where I am. Get it from that journey to the product that's ready for a UK TV audience. That is some distance to travel. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, that's fine. But look at it the other way around. I mean, if these other countries built their sport industry as the UK has done, and I'm not using the UK as a model, but given new technology. For example, when I was in Africa, I was blown away how many people had cell phones. Okay. We racially might look at Africa and go, oh, what a poor nation. But no, every single person had a cell phone. And when there were fights on TV, they would gather around and they'd watch on someone's iPad or laptop. These guys are just as rabid, passionate boxing fans as we are. It's just that they don't get the exposure, and right now they don't have access to the appropriate either training, management, matchmaking, even the healthcare system. So
how does that change?
Well, okay. In the short term, technology is going to change it. I'll give an example. The fighter who does one of our shows, what's his name? David Rajuli.
Yeah,
okay.
I've seen him, yeah.
He's out of South Africa, but he trains in Germany, and he's going to be fighting on that show in the Netherlands tomorrow, right? So he's had to travel from South Africa to Germany and to fight in the Netherlands. So I can't imagine how much that would quote unquote cost, because he's paying it himself. He's not signed to anybody. And that's just one example. But if you multiply that by I don't think there are enough immigration visas in the UK right now to handle or accommodate the number of young boxers that are out there, both male and female, who would prefer to fight. I bet realistically to prefer to fight in the UK just simply to be recognized, not only by the media, but by the professionals in the business. But that's the other point to this. And there are some other professionals who are coming out of the States, quite frankly, and now in Toronto as well. Toronto's a big city. And when we rebuild our infrastructure, you're going to start seeing some top quality fighting material come out of Toronto as well. You're seeing it a fringe in Montreal because of GYM, right?
Yeah.
You're seeing it a fringe element. They do get their Montreal boxers out there, but they tend to lose an awful lot. But they do get them out there. So, Toronto's what, 4 million odd people. So it's a relatively decent sized city. It's got enough gyms. It's got enough professionalism in it. It's got the business savvy. It's getting ready. It's not quite there yet, but it will be. But then you take a look at Chicago, and you take a look at the stable of fighters that are available right there in Chicago. That's a huge city. I haven't even mentioned Detroit. I mean, I actually think that's where Dimitri Salita is.
Do you know, from an audience perspective, though, Graham, we are very different in terms of what how we perceive a boxing event, aren't we, in terms of North Americans and Europe? Because in the UK, a pay-per-view card comes on at 7 o'clock. Not everybody, but the majority will have a beer, sit down and watch the show through till midnight. I'm reliably informed in the US that the viewing figures suggest nobody even watches the undercard. And also in the stadium,
You can see it.
empty until the main event comes on. And then all of a sudden it starts filling up.
Yeah.
So you've got that to overcome as well, haven't you? Changing mindsets.
Absolutely. No one's disagreeing. I'm saying I'm agreeing. That's part of the process.
Yeah.
Because here, like in England, like elsewhere, there are other ways to spend your time. So, am I going to go follow the rugby league, the cricket league, the ping pong league? You know, it's where I
We
choose
don't
to
have a
spend.
ping pong league just for accuracy purposes.
But I'm at the end of the day, it is a mindset thing, and I think if you take a look at the cycle of combat sports, you had your Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier days, slightly, Mike Tyson 90s kind of days, but in between you had the WWE launch. Then when it was found out it wasn't a sport, it was entertainment. Then you had the UFC come into play with a real combat sport. Okay. And that doesn't even take into account what the Asians think of combat sports, whether it be karate, judo, or any other sumo wrestling, whatever. But at the end of the day, then boxing took a backseat to UFC. So now I think in this day and age, when you see what is happening in boxing from a very professional level, you see it has the rules that are in place, the tradition that's in place, the history that's in place. I don't think there's enough managers out there. I don't think there's enough trainers. There's enough gyms. But in terms of defined quality trainers, people who would be paid a lot of money. I mean, when we start talking about trainers for AJ or Tyson Fury, we pick from a handful of trainers, and there should be a lot more trainers than that. Anyway, so when those problems get solved, and they are being solved, it's growing quite organically as a sport. There's a lot of in America. For example, Sheila Stafford and her husband Furquan just got an award.
Very good program, by the way. Very good program.
They just got an award given to them by the House of Representatives, Parliament in America for their efforts.
Do you know what that is, Graham? You don't need to explain. It's like Parliament. Thank you.
But for those people who might not have known, but they got a recognition from the House of Representatives, given their efforts to take kids off the street and put them into regimented boxing programs. And that's the benefit of boxing right now that's being recognized by the Americans. It gets kids off the streets, gives them, something to do.
Focus. Yes. That's what it gives them.
Focus, absolutely. And we can go on.
And I draw parallels with the UK as well, because we've got similar issues on our streets in the UK, as you probably know. And it's clear that where there's a boxing gym, it reduces offending by, I believe it's I can't remember the percentage. But it comes down to funding, Graham, doesn't it? Unfortunately, it comes down to who's picking up the tab.
Correct. And from experience, we can tell you that when the government, so for example, the government withdrew its funding of boxing due to a guy by name here named Ken Hayashi, and during his reign of terror, which lasted 10 years, you over in the UK have the benefit of the real support of the government from the ground up. Okay, it enables you to truly take the amateurs to a different level. Okay, we don't have that luxury. So what we're finding though is that a lot of fighters who are fighting choose to fight because they enjoy the fight. They're not being forced into it, right? So it is something out of passion, and that's what I'm seeing more and more locally. But let's sidestep that issue for a sec. The sheer size and volume that the Americans can produce when they actually churn it and start Sorry, my phone just went off. I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to start ringing in the background. But when they
Not
start
Eddie Hearn, is it?
when they start churning amateur to professionals, when the Americans start doing that, because I mean, look what happened during the Second World War. When they turned on the jets and they started churning out GIs, next thing you know, we're invading Normandy. And and when the Americans choose to do something, hey, we're gonna be on the moon in a couple of years. Really? Yep. When they choose to do something, I'm telling you, it's game over. But right now, the Americans truly they're focused on football, basketball, baseball, to a lesser degree, hockey, and to a lesser degree, I'm going to call them fringe sports.
Ping pong.
But at least not handball. But realistically, boxing is climbing in popularity. Boxing is, I think it ranks number 8 now. And so we're talking an 8th ranked sport that is drawing millions of viewers, not just on a global level, but in America alone. So you are going to see a big change in the next few years in terms of rankings and nationalities. You are. We are. All right, let's see what our
Yes.
There's quite a few comments, Mark, that I think you need to be scrolling through. Some very good points made by Women's Boxing Channel.
they are.
Shalom is
Great
in.
contribution.
New indeed. He does what trolls do presently. He takes others' news and then preys on it. He expands others' news. Okay, tell me what the F Lou DiBella does apart from the very odd event. Not much. His claim to fame is working for HBO. DevOps population of Nigeria alone is 210 million. Africa is fantastic. Just ain't got facilities, sponsors, or promoters. That's true. I follow some young guys in Africa right now who literally are training and sending me videos of them in their bare feet, sharing one glove, one focus mitt. But hey, they're getting it done. What else does Women's Boxing Channel say? The women in Africa train outside, mostly in the dust. Yeah, that's true. How if they gonna get opportunities when the likes of Shannon Courtney, Sky Nicholson, et cetera, get called up? They are blonde, white, and fit the promoter's profile.
And fit the promoter's profile.
Yeah, and fit the promoter's profile.
Is
I'm waiting.
Is that true? Is there really a racist component to this?
Well, it's
not from my view. Not in my opinion.
I don't know if I see it, but no, there's a lot of emphasis on sex sells, but that's women self-promoting themselves, and use what you got, man, to make that dollar. What can you say? Clifton Mitchell, who owns SAC Security, who do all the big boxing events, run One Nation Boxing in Derby, England. He does a fantastic job with the amateurs, not just pros.
Good for him.
What we have nowadays is different categories. We now have white collar, bare knuckle boxing, AMS, pro, etc.
We unbelievably, just add to that women's comment. We also have bikini boxing. Not kidding.
Oh my god!
You know how like how YouTube sends you stuff because they can hear you talk, right? So I guess they heard me talking. So next thing you know, I'm getting like bikini boxing on my TV.
I want to know what the hell I was talking about when YouTube showed up with car jujitsu.
Oh, have you seen the latest? Have you seen the latest hand slap boxing knockouts?
I'm not into that either.
Oh my!
That is ridiculous. Here, let me stand here and let you continuously do damage to my face for no reason.
Well, rather than pouring endless amount of money into promoting something of that ilk, why don't we use the money to promote the best fight and the best instead in traditional boxing?
That has been something that we have been saying since day one.
Yeah,
we don't fall off that ledge.
No, I don't like it. Then there's too many of these risque sports coming now. Where's the one? You see the one? They they're tied hand to hand, and then they just punch the shit out of each other.
That's the Russians. The Russians do that.
And now they came out with one where two guys, they buckle themselves into the front seat of the car, and they have to unbuckle and jujitsu each other and buckle the guy back up to win.
Wow.
Yeah.
You watch some dark stuff, Mike, don't you? I don't know what you
Car
know.
jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I couldn't believe I stumbled upon it. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
But yeah, no, to address your point, Carl, we wholeheartedly agree it should be best versus best. That's why we got so upset when Terrence Crawford couldn't find a suitable opponent, and this whole, that division, almost fell apart. So,
Mike, do you want to just put that comment that was dropped in because
Yeah,
I think it's
DevOps.
nonsense.
As long as the best versus the best includes UK nationals being open to fighting top-ranked non-UK fighters.
I mean, I'm assuming that's aimed at Tyson Fury and Usyk. Well, he's just fought Deontay Wilder 3 times. Last time I looked, he wasn't from the UK.
Yep, he did.
good point, Carl.
Thank you. Not bad for 1 a.m. in the
From
morning.
Last Bell Boxing in Nottingham, England.
Yeah, at 1
The
1
home of
a.m.
Sherwood Forest and Robin Hood.
Is that all you've got, Graham, on Nottingham? Anything else?
Greatest pubs in England.
Greatest fight town in the world. Told you
yeah,
that
that
time
too.
and time again.
Excellent. So
And-
I guess that's it for today.
And a great podcast.
Yeah, man.
You guys did a great job the other night when I was there.
Much appreciated.
Alrighty. It looks like that time. Wow.
It does.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Of course. Carl.
Really
any last
enjoyed
words?
that, guys.
Carl, harmless plug. Go ahead, brother. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yep, so I'm a little bit outspoken, as you probably heard from the show tonight. If you want to catch any more of my outrageous comments, every Thursday, 7 p.m. UK time. I believe that's 2 p.m. Eastern time, Michael.
That's right. That's correct. That's correct.
I do like to be a bit more inclusive than you are. So like, comment, subscribe. Really easy to find us. Just type Last Bell Box into Google and we will pop up. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Carl, thanks for coming to join us today, man. Always a pleasure.
worries.
Graham, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No, I'm just looking forward to tomorrow. That's going to be a great day for all of us. For Talking Fight, for live streaming that event out of the Netherlands that no one's ever heard of, that they will have by the end of tomorrow. And looking forward to Auntie Joshua finally pulling through for me, because I've been rooting for him for a while. And I thought he was going to go downhill there. He sounded like he was going downhill mentally. But now he seems to be back on track. And oh my God, he looked great today. Got to say it.
Well, that being said, guys, to all the Talkin' Fight fans around the world, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Friday Night Panel with yours truly, Mike Orr, Graham Boyce, and our friend Carl from Last Bell Boxing. Shout out to all the people in the comments. DevOps, Women's Boxing Channel, always a pleasure, guys. You know what it is. We'll see you next week. Same time, same channel, new topics. Peace.
Thank you.
And our producer's probably sleeping.
He's having a beer.
Where's ours, right?
Yeah, why can't we get